For today, I will be presenting a lesson in control, a PowerPoint presentation presented by National American University and student. I am a student of that university. The definition of by defining the functions of control in an organization, we can give information to companies to let them know what it is they're needing to have done and what they need to do in their process of management at a business. When we define these functions, uh, uh, functions in control include balanced scorecard, open book management, total quality management, financial resource. Control has several basic functions. These functions are used to help companies control and establish structures in key areas of their company that may be needing to have changed. Organizations use control methods for different resources and different functions of learning. There are different levels to use in control. The framework for control and basic management. Under this, the use of control is basic management through balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard involves inventory management, quality control, and equipment control. Open book management involves basically covering placement process and continued training process, and also used to let employees be able to look at and track the basic growth of their company while they're working there. TQM, Total Quality Management, includes sales marketing forecasting, environmental forecasting, and economic forecasting. These give the business a look at where they are, where they're standing, and where they're going. And these forecasts are used to determine what the company needs to do to bring it up to speed. There are also financial resources. They handle the depth, the cash flow, the depth and the cash flow, and the receivable payables. Control in business and goal setting. Business use these control and their purpose is regardless of the narrative connotation surrounding the word control must exist. One reason for this is that organizations need these control measures to give them some type of guideline to follow while their business is growing. Businesses need to be able to adapt to change in their environment. And that's another good reason that the goal setting is used. Control must have limits in the number of errors made in production, because if you have no guidelines for your employees or your management to go by, then they'll have more errors in their production. Control also needs to cope with complexities within the organization. There are always come complex things in management that need to be organized, so control gives them a basic structure that they can go by when they come across complex measures. Control also measures in management. One measure of is establishing standards which promote management and performance. This gives the upper level management a chance to show their managers and employees what performance they are doing and what they need to restructure. The measures of performance measures and operations for productivities is another measure that the management would use in control. Then it compares the performance against those standards. The performances that your company may have, If you don't have nothing to go by, and these standards are more or less an industry wide, then they take their data and they have something to compare to make sure their companies is running at full speed and trying to do better. The next step measured in highs and lows and the between of standards. Company has to use this data to show where they need to do to stay at a level, because there will be highs and lows. So the measurement that management would use is the data that they are processing while they're at their high and while they're at their lowest. Control and business accountability. Accountability is used by business, and most of the framework is in like the action accountability, which is a form of feedback control. This control allows for employees to be able to held accountable for their actions in case there are certain things that go on during job standards that manager will have a guideline to be able to to give to employees to let them know what they can and cannot do on the job. There are limits on the acceptability of behavior in independent areas of authority have not been specific, have there been noted. Specific action accountability control system cannot work unless you keep it in force. This is Merchant, quote from Merchant, 1972. Quality management approach. TQM is a comprehensive structure approach for management which will improve product, service, and quality. An accurate control system changes standards from time to time so it matches the environment it associates with. Pajaro, 2013 is a quote from. TQM also can be defined separately by particular companies and can adhere to established standards such as International Organization of Standardization, ISO 9000, which was established industry-wide so that companies have a full measure of guidelines that they can go by and structure their company. The financial and budgeting restraints. These are also a part of TQM. Financial and budgeting restraint by control in a process which lets management look at ways to access several ways to keep them on track. Organizations create financial and budgetary planning methods to monitor business standings at regular intervals, because the company takes quarters, halves, and yearly statuses and bookkeeping. This gives them a chance to see what their budget needs to be, what the finance is of the company, and what shape they're in. Roadmaps to developmental sequences. A documentation process. One key to this process is to have documentation to track data to improve company analysis, and this gives a company a chance to record their data and use it to benefit them. The data collection process management is the data collecting process measurement used to analyze the data for key steps in process improvement. Quality stabilization process involves TQM's customer satisfaction focus and an understanding the meeting of constraints requirements. Pajaro, quote from Pajaro, 2013. These steps are taken at the high level of quality control to improve companies' errors while improving production. Summarizing this presentation, always remember that the process of TQM and control management improves the operations, methods of processing information and environmental change by helping with the business control and the complexity that measures it. Organizations can minimize its costs that involve ensuring that their performance does not deviate from required standards. That's a quote from Burnett, Snow Date. The measures described in this process can give ways to use data and making changes to advance a company's growth in their desired marketing and direction, and to keep them on track along the way to make sure that all standards are met by the company standards worldwide. That's the end of the presentation, and here's your references. If you want to, you will be able to look up and be able to track them. Thank you, and that's all.